Number 2 has to be Anything Goes.
You're gonna follow my example, aren't you?
Well, here's the thing. Like, Anything Goes is a really lighthearted opening compared to some of the past Kamen Rider openings.
Blade and Kabuto are perfect examples. And Fies.
The funny thing is, it tricks you into thinking like, oh, this is gonna be like a real lighthearted series because the music is upbeat, it's fast, it's fun, and
The shit you see and the fucked up stuff. It's so nasty. It's such a dark series. Even it's darker than Kiva, it's darker than Fies, it's darker than Kabuto. It's just really dark for the when you get to the halfway point.
but it does the job well. Like, it just
It tricks you. It tricks you, but it's a good trick.
like it's not like like what the hell is this? This is bullshit kind of trick. Like, did that actually happen? Holy crap! I gotta watch more. God, what can I say? The whole soundtrack is basically based around ska music, and it's really well. I really like the upbeat music in O's, especially with Anything Goes. And Anything Goes is my number 2. And before I get to my number 1, I have a runner-up that I need to mention because I just love the song.
Oh, I didn't know you were doing
Well,
runner-ups.
I just had to mention it. The opening for Kamen Rider Deno, Climax Jump.
That's a fun series. It's the slapstick of Kamen Rider. To me, you know what Turbo, or not Turbo, you know what Car Ranger did for the Sentai in saving it? I think this is kind of the not the polar opposite, but the Kamen Rider version of that. It really helped Kamen Rider become this serious drama series to a lighthearted slapstick comedy series. And I think it was really good. I mean, the fights were awesome, but it knew when to put the comedy in. It didn't just throw in random comedy scenes and fight scenes. It was really good for what it did. And for that, I commend Deno. It's not the greatest series, but it is mildly amusing.
Yeah, I have to admit, I have yet to watch Deno, but the opening is this goes along side by side like with Anything Goes. It's lighthearted, it's fast, and it's just really addicting. It's the type of song that gets stuck in your head easily. And I'm sorry, I know I didn't mention a runner-up, but I just had to bring it up because I love that song so much.
It's cool.
And my number 1, I think it's kind of obvious. Kamen Rider Double Boil Extreme. It's the jazzy sound, like with the trumpet,
The saxophone leading you in. It makes you want to relax a bit, and then all of a sudden, boom, it goes right back up there.
And it just goes well with the detective motif that Double has, and with the guitars, especially if you listen to the full version. The guitar solo is just freaking awesome, and the singer has just a beautiful voice, and it really complements the series well. Like, it's...
I think another thing, I'm sorry, but I have to mention this. Something that you all should see if you go and check out the Kamen Rider Double video. The funniest thing they do is when Shotaro and Philip are trying to henshin, and every time they do Cyclone Joker, Heat Metal, or Luna Trigger, the singer and the guitarist get their colors instead of them getting their powers.
Yeah, that was a really nice touch. I really like that.
I love that. That was amazing. But go on. I'm sorry.
The opening goes with the series. My favorite Kamen Rider opening of all time, going with my favorite Kamen Rider series of all time, which might lose its place. It depends on what happens with the rest of O's.
If O's finishes off strongly, O's as a series will probably replace Double as my number 1 series so far.
And yeah, those are our top 5 tracks.
I hope that helped you out, Demon Master.
Our next topic comes to us from one of our 2-week trivia winners, Ninja Shadow Tales, who asks really good questions. And
he always asks really good questions. He always gets our stuff right, except for this.
And
I'm sorry.
He brought us a couple more good ones. First one being our top 5 Megazords. Another top 5. And if you don't mind, since you went first,
I'll let you go first this time, dude. It's only fair.
All right. For my number 5, I think I would have to pick the Thunder Megazord from Season 2 of Mighty Morphin. Now, the reason I chose the Thunder Megazord because it looked a lot different from the original Megazord, and it looked more like a samurai, especially with its sword. And the design overall was just really good, even though the individual Zords themselves looked kind of weird with the exception of the dragon. But yeah, it looked like it could take down anything you throw at it, and it basically did until the beginning of Season 3, but that's besides the point. But, and... yeah. That's my number 5, the Thunder Megazord. My number 4, let's see. Going way back. Can we include, like Sentai robots, or do we just have to stick with the Megazords from Power Rangers?
Well, I don't know. I mean, he didn't really say specifically. He just said Megazords. I assume Megazords goes from Power Rangers to Sentai, so... I mean, I assume that's it. So I guess you can go ahead and do that.
Alright, well, in that case, number 4 has to be the Gokaiō, the current robot for Gokaiger. It's a giant pirate! It's a giant pirate robot with a pirate hat. You don't get much cooler than that.
I think right now, in terms of pirates versus ninjas, I think pirates are fucking winning.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's not even fair for the ninjas. I love ninjas too, so I'm like, oh my god, the pirates are so much better right now.
And my number 3 has to be the Astro Megazord from Power Rangers in Space.
It's simplistic. It's just 2 Megazords.
It's really simple. It's just the Astro Megaship and the space shuttle, and that's all. That's all you needed. You didn't need 5 other Zords to...
Though it was really cool watching 5 Zords come together.
Yeah, that's cool, but it wasn't necessary here, and it did its job. It was really effective in kicking ass.
Yeah.
My number 2, the original Megazord from Mighty Morphin.
Everybody loves that fucking Megazord. How could you not love that Megazord? That's the Megazord that started us all up when we were children. If you hate that thing, then 1, you're dead to me, and 2, I will find you and hit you in the shins.
But yeah, it's the original. It's the one that started it off for all of us that watched Mighty Morphin when we were young. It was a great design. It looked intimidating. It didn't look like it was a pushover. And not only that, the individual Zords looked pretty cool as well, since they were based off of dinosaurs. Well, prehistoric creatures, excuse me. But even so, it looked really, really cool. And my number 1 has to be the Zeo Megazord from Power Rangers Zeo.
See, this is where we can debate about this a little bit. Because even though you realize that 3 of them are moving, 2 of those Megazords are just towers with guns on them. Like the Pink and Yellow Rangers are more of a burden than they are of a use.
Yeah, that's the part I didn't like, that they had to be dragged, but we're talking about the Megazord, not the individual Zords themselves.
True enough.
The Megazord just looked like a perfect successor to the Mighty Morphin Megazords, the the Ninja Megazord, the Shogun Megazord, the Thunder Megazord, and the original Megazord. It just looked really cool, and with the interchangeable helmets, it gave it a little more variety in its attack patterns. And overall, like, the mystical, like, magic theme just fit really well with this Megazord. And I don't know what else to say about it. Those are my top 5. Oh, and special mention to the Samurai Megazord. Even though I don't like Power Rangers Samurai, Megazord still looks badass.
Shinkenger facility. Shinkenger always knows how to make it work.
Exactly. Alright, your turn, bud.
Alright, my top 5 Megazords are the... I have to say this now. The Dino Megazord from the original Power Rangers. I thought that was just the coolest looking thing ever. It reminds you of a demon at a costume party, but it's still intimidating. I mean, it's amazingly cool. I think the only useless one there was the pterodactyl, since it formed the chest plate, but, you know, I mean, I guess you could count it as a plane. But anyway, we're not talking about the individual Zords. We're talking about the Megazord. And this one was the coolest one I've seen, like, one of the coolest ones I've seen. Since then. Yeah, not much to talk about since Nathan took the words right out of my mouth. Anyway, moving on. The number 4 is probably gonna have to go to the Q-Rex Megazord from Time Force.
Oh.
The Q-Rex was the most intimidating thing I've ever seen in my life. And when it turned to a Megazord, it just flipped the switch from intimidating to badass. That's probably the coolest thing I've seen. It's just running at you, then it transforms, then it kicks the crap out of you, goes back into dino form, and leaves. It's like a shark, just as quick as it appeared, it attacked you and disappeared. And that's why the Q-Rex Megazord makes number 4.
Well said.
Oh god. Now for number 3. People are probably gonna be surprised that didn't make a higher list. But the Delta Squad Megazord from Space Patrol Delta. I think this one worked because Space Patrol Delta, these are people policing in public. They don't have to hide behind a building or anything in order to morph. They can just go out there, do what they need to do, and not have to worry about their identities being revealed because, you know, they're essentially local. They're police heroes, essentially. They're policemen with just costumes and better weaponry. So I think when they got the Megazord, it just helped prove the point. They don't mind that we're here destroying their buildings. What makes you think you're gonna stand a chance against us with your giant fucking robot, with your giant fucking monsters? The point is, the people don't seem to mind when we destroy the buildings. I don't really think they're gonna mind us, you know, having to kill off an enemy or two in a Megazord as long as it keeps them safe.
Although I have to say, I just find it really funny seeing like the Megazord just jumping through the air, firing its gun, and like fucking rolling on the ground, just shooting, like crushing everything in its path.
Keanu Reeves! It's Keanu Reeves! Alright, but no, that was number 3. Number 2, even though I'm not a fan of the series, I still think the Megazord was an amazing... It probably saved the series for me. And that, coming at number 2, is the Predazord from Wild Force. The Predazord was comprised of a crocodile, a hammerhead shark, and a wolf. Now, those 3 things are enough to make you shit your pants. Them being giant will make you shit your skeleton out. Them combining and becoming a Megazord, you just disappeared into a wormhole that you created yourself. You do not want to be around this Predazord when it starts attacking you. This thing is intimidating and can mostly knock out enemies in just a few blows. This thing was so powerful that it even rivaled the Wild Force Megazord when it was evil, destroying and taking some of their equipment.